We've already started recording, and our guest is here. Just wonderful curtain work by him. Rosette FC, myself, Ed Cowley, Adam Peacock from underneath an Oakland A's hat, James Dodd, and a sort of modern architecture design school, and all the way from what can only be described as it looks almost like a sort of like a mystery bunker of some sort. But they've got lovely curtains there from an undisclosed location. What about Socceroo? What about absolute legend of international football, just from the places that he's played, and he's still playing at the highest level. AWER MABIL, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm really looking forward to this.
Where do we start? Because we could work backwards, or how many... one day, when we're not doing this, one other time, I want to do your journey with football shirts in the countries that you've lived in. Just for those who haven't been studying your Wikipedia this morning, could you rattle off in order the countries that you've been playing professional football in?
Oh, that's it's a long list. So I played in Denmark. Yep. I played in Turkey. I played in Spain. I played in Czech Republic. Portugal. Where else?
Have you said?
I think that's about it. Australia, I'm forgetting something. Switzerland. That's the one. That was my recent one. How can I forget that? It was too expensive. It took a lot of money.
I've a mate of mine moved to Switzerland, and that's what he said. He said he can't believe how expensive it is. Is it the most expensive place you've ever lived?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I always ask this question: Are you the only person who's lived in both Campbelltown and Zurich? Are you the only person who's done that?
I might be, yeah.
I got a list of questions, and we'll get to it a bit later, about the best of the countries that you lived in. You can tell us the best of out of those 6 countries that you've been to. But mate, what does this period right now, June, mean for you? It means coming back home away from a summer that everyone looks forward to, but the flip side is you get to see loved ones.
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, the weather is horrible at the moment, but it can't get any worse than Zurich and Denmark. So I'm just grateful to be here again with my family, and it's been a while since I got a proper break like this. Now I've got like 3 weeks with the family, so that's something I'm trying to enjoy.
So, for this, right, as I've often wondered this, as a professional footballer, long gone are the days where like players would come back 10 kilos overweight, and they would have they basically let themselves go in the off season. So do you get given like a specialist plan? Like, has Castellon given you a plan? This is what you need to be doing every single day in the off season to make sure that you come back in tip-top shape? Or do you just do they trust you to go, don't go mad, don't eat whatever you want, just kind of come back in decent shape? Like, how do you manage it? Do you have to still train like you're training during the week?
Yeah, with my previous club, it's been more just relaxed. With Castellon now, we've got a strict program that we have to follow. So we had 1 week off where they told us just to do whatever. And then after that, which is this week for me, because last week I was in Fiji, so that was my week off. Actually, so lucky there. So that was interesting.
How's his nose?
Did he still have his bandage around his hip?
He still had a little one, not as big as the one he had on before. So I enjoyed that week, and then now I'm back to training maybe 4 times a week, I think. The program, So I just finished training before, but it's really nice, because I think as a professional, when you get a week off, because you're so used to schedule, you sort of like go like, what do I do now? After like the 4th day. So for me, it's nice to be back training and just following something.
So how old were you when you made your professional debut?
I was 17, I think.
Okay,
17.
So you're still a young man. You're still only 29. You've been playing professional football your whole adult life. How do you be a 17-year-old? How do you keep sort of going through your 20s when most people are, out doing what they want, this or that? How do you stay focused as, you're moving countries, you're moving clubs? How do you keep that, all in your head while you're also trying to improve your football as you go?
Yeah, I think for me, my dream was always to go to Europe. So when I got that, I think I was 19 when I moved over. So almost 10 years ago. And actually one of my other goals was to stay over in Europe for at least 10 years. And because a lot of people talk about the Australian players, they go over to Europe and then they come back early. And I didn't want that. So I've always wanted to achieve that. somehow at the back of my head. I feel that was bigger than, you know, I miss a lot of my, you know, my youth. You can say in your 20s, going out with your mates. I think if I stayed here, maybe I would have enjoyed too much. So maybe it was a blessing for me to go over.
So yeah, on that, are you going to get to the age of 40 and just be like this loose middle-aged man who's just making up for missed time at Mr. Kim's down there in Adelaide and Hindley Street every Saturday night?
No. I am maybe the first, when I retire, maybe the first month.
That's great.
It's
what I call the Wayne Lineker test. If I see you on Instagram with Wayne Lineker in Ibiza, I know things are bad. That's when I'm messaging you, go, mate, it's time to come home. Things are bad.
Please do that for me. I don't want to.
Well, mate, it's been 10 years now. You made the 10 years. So first of all, congratulations on that, because you went over as a. I mean, you said you started when you were 17. That night at Hindmarsh Stadium, Coopers, Josip Gombau thought you were actually 7, not 17 when you picked you up. So we all remember. What do you look back on nights like that? Because it wasn't all perfect, because you were thinking, I want to play more. You were mainly just off the bench, and then you became a bit of an excitement machine. But you look back on it 10 years removed, and what is Adelaide United to you?
It's everything for me. Like, for me, I've been searching for that feeling maybe my whole time in Europe. I've been lucky enough to, you know, experience some things in Europe, in Denmark, winning the league, and then also in Czech Republic, winning the league, and then playing the Champions League. So I've experienced a few things, but I still miss that feeling, you know, that I had with Josep Gombau and the fans of Adelaide United here. That was something that was amazing, because everybody saw the football we were playing. Even though I was crying a lot that I was not starting, Josep knew how to, you know, integrate me into the team and get the best out of me off the bench. Even though at the time I couldn't understand, but now when I look back, I'm like, oof, maybe that was good, because as a young player, if you're starting week in, week out like that, it could be a lot of pressure, and like some can't handle it. So I'm probably happy that I didn't get put in that situation quite early. So it means a lot to me, though.
If you look at like Craig Goodwin, prime example, right? He's been away, come back, and he's always had that affiliation with Adelaide. I dare say you've probably got the same thing, given that was your A-League club. So whilst you're obviously under contract with Castellon, if an A-League move was to come up, would Adelaide always be in the back of your mind going, that's where I want to go first, because you've had that kind of link and you've had that experience there? It's like your club, right?
Yeah, I've got that special connection with Adelaide, obviously. It's where my family is, my friends are. And you never know in football, you know, but I know where I would love to go. But things, you can't predict things. And if I could, I would be playing in front of my family every week, because I think now they deserve that, especially being away for so long. And also, like, when I do come back, I want to come back where I can give something, you know, not just come back to just retire. I want to be able to, like, win something. So if I could do it for my home city, it would be great. If not, okay, then it's meant to be like that. But I do have special feeling for this club, and we never know. So I hope things will work out the way we both want.
Can I talk about Castellon, because you've got the most interesting owner in world football? Have you met?
What a man!
I guess.
What a
yes.
man.
Yes. Here we go. So you have met the Canadian Greek gambling. Yeah. No, he's it. That's why one of the many reasons I was so excited to talk to Aware today, because the Canadian Greek gambling superstar Bob Voulgaris, Haralabos Bob Voulgaris, is your owner. So it sounds like you've spent some time with him. What can you tell us about Canadian Greek gambling superstar, owner of your club, Bob Voulgaris?
Oh, what a man! The first time I met him, I didn't really like, because, you know, a lot of the owners, they come with the suits and you know, like, I'm bigger than everybody. But he was a normal guy. He was just there eating with everybody. And then he's like, hey, welcome to the club. It's good to have you here. I'm like, oh, it's nice to meet you, you know. To be honest, I didn't know at the time. I've read about him, but I didn't know what he sort of looked like.
Yeah. Because
he just fitted in with everybody. So I thought he was one of the staff. And then And then, and then I got to talk with him even more and more.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm Bob. And I was like, oh. Now should I change how I talk to you or something like this? But
because he probably wasn't wearing his World Series of poker winners bracelet when he spoke to you, was he?
No. He is the most down to earth guy I've ever owner of a club. And he talks to everybody. He brings his dog to training also. So it's the dog.
This is big for him
friends with
because
all.
So for those who don't know, Haralabos, he's a famous gambler who is just got one of those incredible minds. And then he worked for the Dallas Mavericks for a while, didn't he? In there,
Yeah, he was a right hand man for
That's right. And then he got the football bug for various reasons, and then has taken it upon himself to try and use what he knows to get your club back into La Liga. And they already have one promotion, and so he is there. He's hands on day to day.
Yeah, he's there every day, nearly every day. Pretty much every day he comes. He comes. Yeah, he's what a man. I can't speak highly enough of him as a human being, because for me as a person, I think it doesn't matter what you really do. It's just how you are as a person to everybody. And he is top. He is top.
I love that.
We're on the club, right? For those of listeners know that Almeria is my team, and I spent a lot of time there growing up as a kid.
Oh, we destroyed them the other way.
Yeah, thanks for that. Cost of promotion. You and Deportivo, Denny Jean-Rose was on the bench that day, and they destroyed them as well. So I was doing a little bit, because obviously I'm familiar with Castellon, but I did a little bit more looking at them last night as a club and kind of the things they're famous for. So you know what the club nickname is, yeah?
Yeah.
So for Ed and Adam, it's called the Socceroos.
Yeah.
Right? Which I was like, I don't really know what that word means. I kind of had a rough idea, but I did a little digging into it. So the nickname means big ears, or the big-eared ones.
Big ears one, okay, yeah.
So, and it's because they had a goalkeeper back in the day who was superstitious, and he used to put a black elephant statue behind the goal for good luck.
No way.
Yeah. So the big ears, so that's where the big-eared ones come from, the Socceroos. But then it also stemmed from the fact there was a fella who used to stand behind the goal who had massive ears, and all the fans used to take the mickey out of him and call him Socceroos, like big ears. How have you found it in Spain? Because obviously you were there with Cadiz before, but then stepping down into the second division. How have you found that step from what you were used to in other leagues?
This has been amazing. To be honest with you, the last 3 months has been the most enjoyable, period in the last maybe 4 years of my career. In a sense of, feeling I felt this in Adelaide, but like I said before, I've been looking for this feeling. But I have this connection now with the players and just the environment that I'm in. I feel like I'm in a good environment compared to where I've been the last 4 years. So I feel like now I can develop myself again. And the club, the fans is really, really good. And it's like a small city, which the fans are very passionate. Our stadium is almost full every week when we play at home. And the football we play is very, very interesting. I think you have to see.
It's nuts. I've been watching the highlights. It's like a thriller every game. I try not to. I don't look at the score because there's no way of knowing what's going to happen. It's amazing.
It's incredible for the ones watching. It's all out attack. Sometimes we leave. Sometimes we're winning 3-1 or 3-2, and we'll just leave one in the back, and the other defenders, they just go forward.
I mean, I heard Ange Postecoglou say, "This is a bit much. This is a bit much." So I wanted to ask you about that because sorry, Adam, to jump in, but just on that, because that's what I heard Bob say when I heard Haralabos on the Bill Simmons podcast when he first bought into the club. I remember him saying, because he's all about maths and everything. He said, what are we doing with draws? 3 points is worth more than 1 point for 3 games if we can win 2 games rather than draw 3. Yeah, it's double the expected value. So we're going all out attack. And I was like, you're not going to, God, come on, Bob. And he's done it. He's done it. He hates draws. I love it.
It's incredible. As an attacking player, it's like the best thing ever. As a defender, it's not so fun. But I guess we all turn into defenders because we all attack, and then when we lose the ball, we all just gotta run back. It's very, very entertaining. I think you should see you should see our highlights. Like you said, you've seen some. It's always I think honestly, the club is working on a few things now to try. They want to get promoted, and which is one of the biggest reasons why I am motivated to be part of this. So I think they're working on a few things this off season, and Bob is very smart, so I completely trust his plan with the coach. But if we just get a few things right, I think we can destroy anybody in the league just the way we play.
Bob sounds like a guy who rocks up to the roulette wheel and doesn't even think about red or black. He just goes straight, chips in on 27 or like 13 or something like that, and he just let it ride. So what's it like culturally then with the fans? Because the Spanish fans, like the Latin blood, when they don't like something, the whistles come out. When they do love something, that they get right behind you. So this commune that you're living in, basically behind its football team, what is it like either side of the fence when those two things happen for a player when you're actually out there and feeling like you're in the middle of a ball ring?
Yeah, for me, like I was quite lucky also at the time when I came to the club, because before I came there, I think they lost like 5 games in a row, and they were quite high in the table before that. So the players said, at that time, some of the fans, expressed their disappointment, but they were still turning up, which was really, really good. And then as soon as the result turned, you can also feel their love, Right. And it's like when you walk in the city, you can feel, you see people wearing their shirt proudly just during the week, and just saying hello. And then they will also say thank you for the game on the weekend, and you're like, oh, I was just doing my job, but hey, I'm glad it made, it just means a lot to them. That's their life, there's generations after generations, just like, coming to the stadium, you see people with their kids, and then, so it's just, you can go back generations. So you can feel all these emotions. So every time you go onto the pitch, you feel like, okay, I just have to give my best. And when you give your best there, they love it. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at it's a story that we'll probably come on to on the podcast in future, but if you look at how the playoffs finished recently and you saw Real Oviedo get promoted, I dare say I don't know if you played against him this season, but you would have seen Santi Cazorla and how he did this year and how much of a kind of a story that's been for not just for him, but for Spanish football in general. But more broadly, I guess a lot of people are kind of maybe unaware of just the level that the Spanish second division is at. Like, I mean, Denis Jeanro's at Deportivo. There's been other players that have played down there. For you personally, given that it's not ranked as like one of the big leagues in Europe, how have you found it compared to where you've played elsewhere?
To be honest with you, like, okay, I play in La Liga, but not so much, maybe, I don't know, 5-6 games. So that was a high level. But in my opinion, compared to everywhere I've played in Europe, that's the highest level. So the only down thing to it is that is second division in Spain. But if this was a division in another country, everybody would be talking about it, because you see big teams like Almeria coming down last year, and you can see they're not going straight back up. And if you follow the league, anybody can beat anybody. So it's a very entertaining league, and it's just a shame that maybe it's in Spain where there's La Liga already. But if it was elsewhere, I feel, in my opinion, it is the best league I've played in. I'm not trying to hype it up, but in terms of football, it's and the quality, it's the best I've been in.
Yeah, I'm just looking at sorry, Ed, before you go next, I was just looking at a thing called Global Football Rankings, and it's got La Liga 2 down at number 24 in between the J League and the Croatian League. Methinks, Ed, that your English journalist mates have got hold of this list because they've got the Championship in England at number 11. Yeah. So if there's 13 place difference between those two leagues,
it's not 13 places different.
There is no. That is
someone needs to
that's
get
the
off
old.
the
No, wow. All right, so we've got we go because he's we've very kindly given us his time today. So who's got a last question for?
I've got a couple more.
I did say one, but
one more
okay.
as well.
No worries, yeah.
So are we obviously
more each? We've got 6 more each by the sounds of things. Yeah.
You said so. You've been.
I've got time.
10 years.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
he's done his session for today. It's all
Yeah,
good.
it's
Tony,
true. Yeah.
Bob won't get annoyed at us.
Yeah.
No, Bob is
You
all
actually,
right.
can you put in a good word? We'd love to interview Bob at some point. Can you put in a good word for me? Because he's hard to get hold of, and I'd love to
Down
chat.
the local RSL, by the sounds of things,
100%.
playing the Pokes.
I'll
That'd
talk
be
with him.
great. We'd have a great time. All right, so here we go. So Jane, okay?
So, you've actually said you've been overseas 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
When you see other young players that are going overseas, in particular someone like Nestori. Now, I know you have a good relationship with him, and I remember speaking to you once before, and it's kind of a bit mentoring, given that you've been in the same position he's been in. How proud does that make you seeing someone like him and his talent move to a big club like Bayern Munich, and then he was at your old club, Grasshoppers? Like, what do you speak to him regularly, and kind of what are the words of advice that you give to him and you have for him, given that he's kind of trying to follow in the same footsteps that you've laid down?
No, for me, like, I'm always available. I've said it many, many times for the young players. I'm always there. My door's always open. And when I can share, I'll share honestly, what I think they can take advantage of and what they can look out for to avoid so they don't make the same mistake or take the longer way. Because I think for me, it took me a while. Maybe I should have definitely stayed in the A-League for another year, as we were talking before.
Wow. Okay.
I went over when I was still, a player coming off the bench. And knowing that, I sort of got this belief in me thinking, oh, I'll go to Europe and I'm a starter already. And I was shocked. It took me 3 years to win my place in a team. So I think when I talk with these younger players who are coming up now, making the move to Europe, I always tell them you have to be patient also, be patient and keep working at your game, because when you're not playing, it doesn't mean that's it. Like it's an opportunity for you to say, okay, what can I develop that can get me closer to playing? Maybe not a starter yet, but what can get me on the bench? And then from the bench, you're like, okay, now I can see, okay, this player in my position is doing this and I'm not doing that. So these kind of things are what I try to advise them. Sometimes I don't know if they listen, but
what are you doing? You're doing what you can. That's what you're doing.
Exactly. So I'm always here, and it's nice to see. Ness now they're in Europe, and then you've got the Toure brothers also there. You've got other young players there. So if they ever want any advice, I'm always there, and
that's great.
And yeah, I think they also have to go on their journey, and we just have to be there, be available when they need anything.
I got a last one. I just want to quickly do this list. I'm fascinated about the places you've been. Like it's almost like bucket list to just go around and experience different cultures. So Denmark, reiterating, Denmark, Portugal, Turkey, Spain, Czechia, Switzerland. They're the six, the Mobile six, if you like, through Europe. So I want the best of those six. Who's got the best food?
Spain.
Hey, he's in the homeland of paella.
Best road rules.
Switzerland. They're robotic there. Everybody.
Best manners.
Best manners. Denmark.
Yeah.
Denmark.
What about really importantly as a footballer? Best taxation system.
Switzerland killed me. Denmark killed me with the tax. Spain is a little bit slow, so I'm still trying to work on understanding their taxes. But did you say the best or the worst?
The best. Like for you.
For me, I would say Turkey. Turkey was.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
And you're about to say their food as well. Turkey.
Yeah, the food I had. Yeah, I had. It was similar to African food with a lot of flavors, and so I didn't mind that. I thought it was. But Denmark is. I love Denmark. I was there for 7 years. It's my second home. And those countries that you mentioned, I think.
Sorry, just on that.
Yeah.
Born in Kenya and Denmark is your second home. You might be the only person in the world to say that as well. Also might be. That's fantastic.
I've got many homes. Australia is home.
That is incredible.
And then the second home is Denmark, of course, and I'm South Sudanese, so that's also my home. But
amazing.
I've never lived there.
And for tax purposes, Turkey's home.
Yeah, exactly.
Us, we live in Turkey. I get it. Yeah.
Mabil signs for a Canary Islands team. That's amazing.
Oh,
Anyway.
good idea. Well, you are an inspiration. You know, you're just such a, you know, not me to tell you this, but, you know, you're always, I know you were 2023 Young Australian of the Year. That doesn't, you know, that doesn't happen by accident. And, you know, your attitude is so good. And I really think that, you know, young footballers and young people can, you know, look at your example and go, here is someone who is absolutely making the most of everything they've got and is, you know, using that platform to try and help other people. So well done you, sir.
Thanks, mate. It's been a journey, you know.
Still is, my friend. Still is. You've got another 10 or 11 countries to get to before.
Nah, I miss home.
Which one?
But Spain,
Denmark, Kenya.
I don't know.
Which one?
I don't know.
One?
Maybe another country is going to be home.
All right. Well, thank you so much, AWER MABIL. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you on the field. And if people haven't seen, we'll put up a link to some of the highlights to AWER's team, because it is absolutely crazy, and it's really, really good stuff. So, thank you so much, mate. Thank you for making time.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, AWER. Hey guys, quick question.
Yeah.
Should we stop this record now so it uploads and then just reboot another one? Adam, you got time?
No, that's right. I'll do it with you, James. I'll do it with you.
All right, perfect. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, AWER.
Thanks,
Bye,
AWER.
guys.
Cheers,
Ciao,
mate.
ciao.
Thank you, mate.
Bye.
Bye.